What does the tarot hold in store for your astrological sign this October? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the award-winning Fearless Tarot and the upcoming Tarot in Love, Consulting the Cards and Matters of the Heart. And it is time for this month's tarot scope readings for every astrological sign for October 2023. So I'm going to start with Aries and end with Pisces. And you'll see there's some convenient timestamps on the bottom of your screen of which you can skip to your sign quickly. And if you want an even more accurate reading, you might also want to listen to the message for your moon sign and also your rising sign in conjunction with your sun sign as well. Also, I want to announce that this October 14th through 16th, I've been asked to present a masterclass at Tarotpalooza, which is a 3-day online event which collects tarot authors and experts in our field that are going to be presenting different topics on tarot. And my masterclass is going to be on readings that resonate and how to give them. So if you're interested in my approach to tarot, you might want to think of attending. And for those of you who use my link, which will be linked in the description box, you will also get a free e-reading that I'm going to send to your email that's going to be personalized just for you as a special thank you. So without further ado, and with the housekeeping out of the way, let's go right into the tarot scope messages. So first we're going to go into the astrological sign of Aries. So if you're an Aries or you have a lot of Aries in your chart, this first card is going to talk about where it's best to place your focus this next month of October. And we actually get the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is a card of movement, change, and transition. There's a lot of change cards in the tarot, and some of them can feel a bit traumatic while they're going on. But for me, the Six of Swords is the most benevolent change card in the tarot. It's as simple as getting in the boat, going with the flow, and just letting that universal current take you to your next destination. The Six of Swords is also traditionally associated with moving or moving on. So the move could be physical, it could be travel, or it might be metaphorical. It might just indicate that this is a time for Aries to grow, to get to that next level. The second card for Aries is advice from your inner wisdom for this next month of October, and we actually get the Seven of Swords. So how interesting, we got to sequence the 6 and the 7 of Swords. Swords in a tarot reading will often indicate that you're needing to problem solve. There's something to focus on in your mind. And this might also be a time when your perspective is shifting about something. The 7 of Swords often shows a thief on the card. And a lot of people have a problem with this card because they think somehow they're going to get robbed or there's going to be some dishonesty about. But most often when this card comes up, for me, I usually think it's a card of strategy. And the strategy has to be applied to your change, Aries, the thing you're thinking of transitioning through. The thief on the card is a thief, but look at what he's doing. He's sneaking into an enemy camp. It's almost as if an invading army has taken over his land, and he can't fight the army all by himself. All he can do is outwit them by sneaking in and stealing their weapons. So Aries, you too might feel really overwhelmed by the changes in front of you, but you can handle it because you're more clever than the challenge at hand. And if you use your wits, you'll be able to get past this obstacle. This is a time of critical thinking and to look before you leap and to just be logical and to take the more cerebral choice. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Taurus. So if you're a Taurus or just have a lot of Taurus in your chart, this is going to be your message. First card for Taurus is where it's best to place your focus. We actually get the Ace of Pentacles. And if you look up the Ace of Pentacles online or in a tarot book, oftentimes it'll talk about a new job or a new opportunity. Here you can see this garden, and there's this giant gateway opening up for you, Taurus. And when you look through the gateway in the distance, you'll see that there's a mountain there. And the mountain can symbolize that there's an obstacle to overcome or a challenge that's being presented to you. And yet you want to take this challenge up. Because Taurus, if you can climb that mountain and stake your flag into the top of it, you're going to be victorious. And the mountain can also symbolize recognition or reputation. So I just think that there's something that's really wonderful that's right before Taurus, and it's coming in the form of a golden opportunity. And also, this is just a great time for new energy, especially as it relates to your job, your finances, your money, or your focus. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Taurus, is actually the Tower card. And despite its destructive imagery, the Tower for me is one of the most healing, cathartic cards in the tarot. It breaks you out of the illusion that you're stuck or you're trapped or that you have to be imprisoned in the old ways of things just because that's how it's always been. That lightning bolt on the Tower is an epiphany, and it crashes the Tower apart. The Tower is not anything if not a prison. And so when we look at it in that context, the dismemberment of a prison isn't such a bad thing. And so Taurus, I feel like the calling for you is toward the new opportunity. And there's also just this need to accept that the old ways are shaky. They might not be on the most solid of foundations anymore. And if you can surrender and allow that transformation to happen, you're going to get out on the other side of this and stand on that mountaintop with your flag in it. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Gemini. So if you're a Gemini or have a lot of Gemini in your chart, this is going to be your message. And the first card for Gemini is where it's best to place your focus for October 2023, and we get the Seven of Wands. I love this card because the figure on the Seven of Wands is taking the high road. He is standing in his integrity, and he's also standing up for himself. There's these nameless, faceless people that are trying to knock him off the mountaintop, and yet he's holding his ground. And you can't see the people that are trying to knock him off, and you don't need to, because they're all the same. So what this is showing is that this might be a time for Gemini to stand in your truth, to take the high road, and to honor your own integrity. And also look closely at the figure on the Seven of Wands. He's wearing two different shoes, and this means that he's a nonconformist. He's going his own path or going his own way. He doesn't walk in the shoes of everybody else. So Gemini, you're going to make yourself miserable if you're looking around at other people and thinking that somehow your life needs to resemble theirs or mirror theirs. It's apples and oranges. And you just need to follow your own truth and also your own unique path at this time. And stand up to any pressure to cave in. This is going to be your time to really make your stand and also choose the high road for yourself. The second card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom for October for Gemini. And we actually get the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is traditionally the card of the past. It's a card of memory. Sometimes the message of the Six of Cups is that you can be happy again. You just have to know where you left that happiness. And it might be time for Gemini to circle back and pick up the disparate parts of themselves and allow yourself to feel like you are picking up that part of you that used to provide you so much joy. Sometimes the Six of Cups is also a card of completing the past, coming full circle, or transitioning in some sort of important way. And so I really feel for Gemini this next month that it's time to come full circle, and it's also time to bring some closure to the past. You might also find that your own unique path is calling you towards something that you might have put on the shelf a little while ago. And now it's time to circle back and pick up that disparate part of yourself so that you can bring it into this next important phase. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer or you have a lot of Cancer in your chart, this is going to be your message. And first card is where it's best for Cancer to place their focus this next month. And we get the Death card. And a lot of times people's hearts sink when they see the Death card. They say, no, I don't want to see the Death card, especially Cancer, who is sometimes resistant to change. You know, the Death card frightens a lot of people, number one, because it's called death, and we're afraid that something terrible is going to happen. But a lot of times for me, the Death card, like all symbols in the tarot, is potent. It's a wake-up call, and it's saying something needs to change. The thing that's frightening about the Death card is that there is a threshold to cross in front of you, although it might not result in you dying. But what it will result in is a permanent change. And once you cross that threshold, once you make that commitment or that choice to move forward, there's no going back. There's no getting the toothpaste back in the tube. So Cancer, there is a decision of gravity in front of you. It might even frighten you a little bit. And yet it's so important that you cross the threshold anyway. That in this world, which cannot evolve or adapt, goes extinct. And so this might be an important time of change and transformation for you. It might also be a time where you're letting the past be the past, Cancer, and you're really walking away from the thing that's finished. Whatever this threshold is in front of you, it's important that you allow yourself to cross it and move on to this next important phase in your life. The next card for Cancer is going to be advice from their inner wisdom. And we actually get the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is saying that although you might be going through the Death card right now, Cancer, with some change in your life, the long-term security for you is still there. The King of Pentacles has his eye on the long game. There may be some temporary discomfort that you're preparing for, but it's important to know that the long-term goals that you're establishing are solid, that you've planted important seeds for yourself, and they're going to grow fruit. And so I just think that this is a time to be patient and also to keep your eye on the long game. And if you're at all nervous about, will I be stable? Will I be secure? Will this next phase after I cross this threshold support me? The King of Pentacles absolutely says it will. It also might be a time when you're really bringing or infusing more positive energy into whatever it is you're trying to grow in your life. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Leo. So if you're a Leo or you have some important aspects of Leo in your chart, this is going to be your message. First card for Leo is where it's best to place your focus, and we actually get the Queen of Pentacles. The ever-patient Queen of Pentacles is in her garden, and it's not 100% in full bloom. And yet, look at her. She's just smiling at that coin in her lap. She's gazing at it. The pentacle, the coin, represents the thing that you're building, Leo, that you're manifesting. And much like the King of Pentacles for the sign of Cancer, Leo, you're also going to be focused on a long-term goal. It's so important that you're staying focused on that despite your anxieties. Because on that Queen of Pentacles card, hidden in the bottom corner, is a little rabbit. And rabbits can represent nervous energy, anxiety, something that might threaten to take the megaphone and convince you not to keep working toward this goal. And yet the Queen of Pentacles example should be followed. Stay focused on the goal, go the long haul, and you will arrive at your destination. All may not be in full bloom yet, but it is coming into a beautiful harvest. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Leo, is actually the Three of Cups. Don't underestimate the power of your charisma, Leo, to open doors for you. The Three of Cups shows the three graces from Greek mythology. They were called the Charites. And from their name, Charites, we get our words in English, character, charisma from. And so this might be a time, Leo, where you're really elevating your own personal charisma. And you might also be elevating the mood surrounding your own long-term projects and goals. A lot is going to follow the energy you're bringing, Leo. So if you show up exuberant, enthusiastic, positive, that kind of energy is going to be reflected in your environment. And it's also just important to use charm, another word that the Charites give us. It's so important that you're using your smile and your wit and your laughter to affect some positive change. Personal connections can open doors for you this next month, Leo, so walk through them. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Virgo. So if you're a Virgo or you've got a lot of Virgo in your chart, this is going to be your message. And first card for Virgo is where it's best to place your focus. And we have another Pentacles card, which is the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is a card of legacy. It's also a card of establishing roots, family, and also serving community or a greater organization in some way. This could be a month in October where Virgo, you're really getting to work. It could also be a time where you're planting the seeds for your long-term goals, and you're really focused on your own legacy. What is the energy you're bringing to your tasks? How are you going to be remembered? Be self-aware for what energy you're bringing, because what you bring is really going to affect your organization, your family, or the people that are closest to you at this time. It's also, the Ten of Pentacles, a card of long-term goals, much like the King and the Queen of Pentacles. And so this could be a time to really be far-sighted, to really think about every step and how it's going to affect you over the next several years, and not just for this next month. And just keep your eye on that long-term goal. Second for Virgo is advice from your inner wisdom, and we actually get the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups encourages us all to feel. Of all the Cups cards in the tarot, the Queen of Cups holds the most elaborately decorated chalice. It looks like the Ark of the Covenant. There's angels on it. And you can see that she looks at it with this sense of gravity and importance. In this cup, the Queen places all of her emotions, and not just the happy emotions, but also the difficult emotions, the sorrowful emotions, and she appreciates all of them because emotion gives our lives complexity and nuance and provides great wisdom. And there's just much to be learned by connecting with your feelings this next month, Virgo. The Queen of Cups is also very nurturing, and when she's coupled with that Ten of Pentacles, it could also indicate that your role as a caretaker or somebody who's really involved in family or being in a support role is going to be emphasized in October. And it's just important that you're allowing love to be the answer. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Libra, and happy birthday to all the Libras out there. First card for Libra is where it's best to place your focus this next month of October. And we actually get the Four of Wands, which I think we've visited before in a previous video. The Four of Wands is a card of socializing and also changing the social dynamic in your life. This could be a time for Libra where you're just partying a little bit more or enjoying yourself, being a bit more lighthearted. The Four of Wands is a relationship card, but it's not a heavy relationship card. It's rather lighthearted. And this could be a time to network, to socialize, which Libra, you're actually pretty good at. So this could be an important time to let your charm take center stage, but also to lighten up. If you're facing a stressful situation, Libra, learn how to laugh at it. This might also be a time where you have to snap out of your own fears or worries and anxieties and really just allow yourself to let your hair down. The Four of Wands is also just a wonderful card for building on connections and letting those networks take you to that next level. So I just think this is going to be an important time socially for Libra, and you don't want to miss it. You want to really fully engage in it, Libra. Second card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom for the month of October. And we actually get the Hangman card. The Hangman is a card of sacrifice. The Hangman right here has sacrificed his ability to move on to the next thing in a hurry. And what the Hangman might be teaching you, Libra, is that you have to undergo a temporary period of discomfort for a long-term result of gain. Although the Hangman's life has been turned upside down and he's hanging there, he's not really suffering. He's more uncomfortable. So these are going to be things that you're addressing this next month. Aside from just enjoying yourself and letting your hair down, there's also going to be counterbalanced with that some situations that are going to require you to leave your comfort zone and also to feel like you're suspended in something that does feel uncomfortable. It feels like you're not 100% settled. But as the Hangman is hanging upside down, all the energy is pulling to his head, which is representing wisdom. And much like how if we turn an abstract painting on its side 90 degrees, we start to notice new patterns in it. This might also be a time for Libra to really gain a new perspective on their own life, and great wisdom is going to come from that. Whatever it is that you're needing to sacrifice for your long-term success, Libra, this is the month to start doing it. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio or you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, this is going to be the message for you. And the first card for Scorpio is where it's best to place your focus. And we actually get the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is a card of taking charge. It's also a card of regaining your power and being assertive. So Scorpio, it's going to be a month in October where you're really saying, this is how things are going to be. It might also be a time when you're really focused on a long-term goal and you're going for it. Aces are really wonderful in a tarot reading, and they can often indicate a magical new beginning. But in the case of the Ace of Swords, it's saying the new beginning will only begin when you say so, when you grab the bull by the horns and make it happen. So this is an important time for Scorpio to effect some important change. Next card for Scorpio is advice from your inner wisdom. And we actually get the Eight of Swords. Now the Ace of Swords and the Eight of Swords are so different from one another. You know, whereas the Ace of Swords has to do with reclaiming your power and taking charge, the Eight of Swords can sometimes make you feel passive, like you're hoping, wishing, or waiting for something to come your way. However, this is an illusion. You still have the ability to take charge of the situation. The Eight of Swords shows the quintessential damsel in distress, and her hands are tied, and she's waiting for her hero to come and get her, and he's not coming. And yet, look at her. She is tied with those ropes, but she's literally inches away from these sharp swords, and all she'd have to do is rub those bindings against the sharp blades, and she could be free. Swords are symbols for thoughts, your thinking, your mind. And in a tarot reading, they can be empowering thoughts in the case of the Ace of Swords, or disempowering thoughts that are going to victimize you in the case of the 8. And what you're needing to learn, Scorpio, is that you need to have agency and take control of the situation by freeing yourself. The very thoughts, swords, that are keeping you stuck can also be repurposed to free you if you cut the bindings with those thoughts. So this might be a time when you're really shifting perspective. And the advice from your inner wisdom is to free yourself from any limiting thought that's keeping you stuck in passivity and instead to take charge. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Sagittarius. So if you're a Sagittarius or have a lot of Sagittarius in your chart, this is going to be the message for you. And first card for Sagittarius is the 9 of Wands reversed. Now, the 9 of Wands reversed can sometimes represent that you're feeling disgruntled in some way. This could also be a card of some building resentments and frustrations with other people in your life. And it's so important that you're getting out of the griping, that you release the chip on your shoulder, and that you start looking at proactive solutions this next month, instead of just replaying how someone's wronging you or how something isn't 100% the way you would do it. The 9 of Wands reversed can indicate that you're resilient and that you've really had to suffer through a major trial by fire. Your patience might be tested at this time, and it might really feel like you're wearing thin. And yet, you can turn it around. But first, you have to get out of the mindset that this is all just happening to you and it's all somebody else's fault. The 9 of Wands reversed is really saying you need to take ownership and really say, you know what, I'm going to affect the change that's going on. I may not always have control over what comes my way on my path, but I always have my choice in how I'm going to respond to it. And so 9 of Wands, it can, when it's reversed, indicate that there's a little extra stress on your plate. But it's important to really shift your perspective so you aren't completely at the mercy of it. Second is going to be advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Sagittarius. And we got the Ace of Cups. Aces are about new beginnings, fresh starts, as we said earlier. And in the case of the Ace of Cups, it's also a card of choosing what you love, choosing what you enjoy again, and refilling yourself by really focusing on what makes your spirit happiest. The Ace of Cups has these waters that are gushing out of it, and it's replenishing the pond below it. And there's also this dove that's coming out of the heavens that's in communion with the chalice below. And so this might be a time when you're really connecting to your higher self for the solution. It might also be a time when you're letting love be the answer. And it's so important that you're really maybe getting out of the hook of resentments, frustrations, and maybe allowing some compassion in, looking at the perspective of the other person, or also just kind of seeing things from that higher self mind. If you let your best self choose your moves for October 2023, Sagittarius, you're going to win. But if you let yourself get frustrated, you're going to feel griping and you're going to lose. And so it's just so important that you're transcending and you're focusing on starting anew. This is going to be an important time for rebirth and renewal, and it just might be a time to unhook yourself from the resentments of the past. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Capricorn. So if you're a Capricorn or have a lot of Capricorn in your chart, this first card is where it's best to place your focus this next month. And we actually get the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune can represent chance. It can represent good or bad events that just come out of nowhere. And it's not because you're a good or bad person or you did the right thing or the wrong thing. Sometimes random things just happen, and we have to grapple with them. The important symbol of the Wheel of Fortune are the two components of it. You got the rim of the wheel, where there's the figures that are rising and falling. But you also got the hub of the wheel, which is the center. And Capricorn, it's so important that this next month of October, you're not hitching yourself up to the rim of the wheel, which is a symbol for the external world, other people, what others are going to do, what other people are going to say, what chance event could happen. You're going to drive yourself crazy if you're riding that hamster wheel up and down with every borrowing of trouble that you're allowing yourself. And so it's important that you're getting centered. Find your way back to your center, Capricorn, and you can be in the eye of the storm. And all of this can go on around you, all of this chaos and change and transformation without you being swept up into it. There's also a sense with the Wheel of Fortune, though, that your luck is shifting. And when the wheel is upright, it's usually for the better. So no matter what chaos you're blessing in your life at this time, this card can really indicate that it ends up being very fortunate for you in the long run. And so it's just important that you're riding this wave and remaining centered as it's going on. The second card is advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Capricorn, and in true Capricornian fashion, you have the Eight of Pentacles, which is the work card. And the advice from your inner wisdom, Capricorn, could be to focus on your work, focus on the project. You can see the craftsman here who's hammering away at his chisel in his workshop. And those repeated blows of the hammer on the chisel can represent a repeated effort that's consistent. There's a consistency with this card that's going to help you weather the unpredictability of the Wheel of Fortune. And so if you can just stay focused on the task at hand, stay focused on this job, finish it out through to its conclusion, well, then you're going to find your center. And also this could just be a really productive time for you that's profitable, and that where you're placing your energy is really going to benefit you this next October. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarius or have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, this is going to be the message for you. The first card for Aquarius is where it's best to place your focus. And we have the anchored King of Cups. I say anchored because the King of Cups is seated on a stone platform amid the crashing waves. And he's above those waves. And waves and the water in the tarot, they represent our feelings and our emotions. And the king governs his. He isn't swept out to sea. He's anchored on that stone throne. There's also the sense of anchoring with the ship that's behind him. So I'm just feeling like for Aquarius, you want to remain anchored. There are going to be some emotions that are running on high, especially for October. But you just need to be mature and allow that sober-mindedness when it comes to dealing with your emotions to really take the lead. This could also be a time when you are providing emotional security to other people. You might be providing that anchor for them. And also that King of Cups, he's got a whale behind him. And whales are the record keepers. They represent our personal history and our wisdom. And the whale plumbs the depths of the water and knows where the sunken treasure is. So this could be a time, Aquarius, where you're really going deep and really anchoring yourself in the treasures that are found in your own history, your own wisdom. Learn from that history and apply it to the situation. Next is going to be advice from your inner wisdom, and we actually get the Two of Swords for Aquarius. And the Two of Swords for me is the card of in between. It shows the woman who's in between the sky and the sea. She's in between the new moon and the full moon. And she's also between, the two swords that are balanced. And so the Two of Swords could indicate that you're in an in-between time, Aquarius. You're not quite in the past anymore, although it can inform your situation with that whale that we saw in the King of Cups. And you're also not quite in your future. You're in this limbo. And the blindfold on this card shows that this woman cannot look outside of herself for the answer. She can't see it there. She also doesn't know quite what's coming. But look at how serene she is. She's almost in this meditative state. She completely trusts her inner wisdom. October is going to be a test for you, Aquarius, to trust your inner wisdom, especially as you're going through this important transition. And soon you will see the dawn break. Next and finally, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Pisces. So if you're a Pisces or have a lot of Pisces in your chart, this first card is where it's best for you to place your focus at this time. And actually, we get the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is unique in the Tarot's Knights because he's the only one who's seated on that horse that is not moving forward at this time. So he can represent a delay, a standstill, something that feels frustrated. The Knight of Pentacles is trying to get this brown field behind him to grow, and it's just not growing fast enough for him. And so this card has been called the card of unfulfilled expectations, or even a frustration with how something's stalling. However, this card is also associated with the astrological sign of Virgo, your opposite sign, Pisces. So this could be a time where something is stalled or you have to stop from progressing forward in order to gather the details, to analyze the situation, to understand it before proceeding. It's important to look before you leap. Knight of Pentacles is saying in its season, in its time, those fields will grow. But for right now, you might just expect a delay, and it's important not to get bent out of shape about it, but to use that time that you're waiting to divert your attention toward making progress in another area of your life that might have been neglected. And finally, the advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Pisces, is actually the Three of Pentacles. Two earthy cards for Pisces. This could be a month to get grounded. The Three of Pentacles is a card of study, learning, perfecting. Right in alignment with the gathering of the details of the Knight of Pentacles, this could be a time where you're focused on your own area of study. Or you could be focusing on that aspect of your life that you're perfecting at this time. It's also a time to do some research. If you don't have the answers, the worst thing you can do is stay in your room all alone, just ruminating about the situation and worrying about how to solve it. And instead, this might be a time to go online, to get a book, to talk to someone who's in the know, and to get the answer that you're looking for. It's going to be much more efficient for you if you're seeking the support you're looking for to help you perfect this part of your life, rather than just hoping and wishing and waiting for it to come up. And also, that Three of Pentacles is saying long-term goals for you are going to be significant. So this could be a month when you're really beginning something that you're learning about and really mastering that's going to benefit you over the long term. And that is this month's Tarot readings for October 2023. I'm so happy you joined me. If you found this video useful, please do like and subscribe, and also maybe share it with a friend. Also, I will be back again next month for the November Tarot Scope. I love doing these, but if you want to get in touch with me before then, you can always schedule a reading with me at elliotoracle.com, and we can do a one-on-one session. Otherwise, I hope you all are safe, happy, and protected and blessed for this next month of October. And I will see you again for the November Tarot Scope, so do take care.